Do you often forget where you put your keys or struggle to recall a name? It's easy to brush off these moments as just part of getting older, but they could be early signs of something more serious. Alzheimer's disease is a brain condition that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, and recognizing its early symptoms can help you get the care you need sooner. While forgetfulness might seem normal, there are certain signs that should never be ignored. In today's video, we'll uncover 7 early warning signs of Alzheimer's disease and help you tell the difference between simple forgetfulness and something more concerning. Stick with us until the end, because the 5th sign is often overlooked but so important to recognize before it's too late. 1. Frequent memory loss that affects daily life. Everyone forgets things now and then. It's normal to forget where we put our keys or what we had for lunch. But for some people, forgetting starts to happen more often and can cause real problems in their daily life. People with early Alzheimer's may forget important things, like their own family's birthdays, appointments, or conversations they just had. They might ask the same question many times or need to write down everything because they can't remember simple things. This can make everyday life more difficult and confusing. It can even make them feel frustrated or sad because they don't understand why it's happening. If someone you care about is having trouble remembering important things or constantly needs help to remember, it's important to talk to a doctor. Catching Alzheimer's early can help slow it down and make life easier for the person affected. 2. Difficulty in planning or solving problems. We all have times when we find it hard to focus on tasks, like following a recipe or fixing something around the house. But for someone with early Alzheimer's, these problems happen more often and with simple tasks. They may have trouble planning things like paying bills, organizing a schedule, or even following directions they used to understand easily. Things that were once so simple and easy now feel very challenging. This happens because Alzheimer's affects the brain, making it harder for the person to think clearly and concentrate. It might be someone who was always organized or good at solving problems but now struggles with even the smallest tasks. If you notice someone you care about having trouble with planning or problem solving, it could be an early sign of Alzheimer's. Talking to a doctor soon can help figure out what's going on and provide the right support. 3. Confusion with time and place. A person with Alzheimer's disease may sometimes lose track of time. They might forget what day it is or even what year it is. They might be at home but suddenly not know where they are or how they got there. It can be really scary and confusing for them. They might visit a familiar place but feel lost and unable to recognize it. This confusion happens because Alzheimer's affects the brain's ability to understand time and space. When this happens, it can be upsetting for both the person with Alzheimer's and their family members. It's important not to ignore these signs because they can show that something more serious is happening. If someone often forgets where they are or the time, it's important to get help from a doctor so they can be properly cared for. 4. Trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. Alzheimer's disease can also affect the way people see things. They might have trouble reading, understanding how far away things are, or even recognizing faces of people they know well. They might not be able to tell the difference between light and dark or have trouble seeing colors clearly. This can make activities like walking downstairs or crossing the street dangerous. Sometimes, a person with Alzheimer's might even look into a mirror and think their own reflection is someone else. This happens because Alzheimer's affects the part of the brain that helps us understand what we see. If someone starts having trouble seeing clearly or understanding what they're looking at, it's important to get help from a doctor right away. Early care and support can make a big difference in how the person manages these changes. 5. Difficulty speaking or writing. As people with early Alzheimer's begin to struggle with their memory, one of the first things they may notice is that they have trouble finding the right words. A person might be in the middle of a conversation, trying to say something, but suddenly forget what they were talking about. This can make them feel confused and frustrated. Sometimes, they might repeat themselves over and over, or even call things by the wrong name, which can be very confusing for the people around them. Writing can become hard too, and they may find it difficult to put words together the way they used to. This can make simple conversations feel like a challenge, and it might make the person feel isolated or embarrassed. These changes happen because Alzheimer's affects the part of the brain that helps with language. If someone who used to speak clearly begins to have trouble with their words or writing, it's important to notice these signs early and talk to a doctor for support and care. 6. Misplacing items and losing the ability to retrace steps. We all misplace things sometimes, like our keys or phone, but for someone with early Alzheimer's, this happens a lot more. They might put their wallet in the fridge or their phone inside a shoe, and then, when they can't find it, they feel upset and confused. It can be frustrating for them, and they might even think that someone else took it, even though no one did. It's hard for them to understand that they just misplaced it. Over time, the person might not even be able to remember where they put something at all. Simple tasks like looking for their glasses or keys become much harder. This can cause a lot of stress and confusion. both for the person with Alzheimer's and for their family. If this happens often and they can't remember where they place things, it might be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. 7. Sudden changes in mood, personality, or behavior. When someone starts acting very different from how they used to, it can be worrying. People with Alzheimer's may suddenly feel anxious, confused, or upset without any clear reason. They might feel very suspicious or worried about things that never bothered them before. A person who was always social and loved being around friends may suddenly want to be alone and avoid social situations. It's hard for them to explain why they feel this way, and they might even start to pull away from family and friends. These changes happen because Alzheimer's affects the brain's ability to control emotions and social behavior. The person might feel like they have lost control of their feelings and don't understand what's happening to them. If someone starts acting very differently or shows big changes in their mood, it's important to talk to a doctor. It's painful to see a loved one change so much, but getting help early can make a big difference in how they are supported. Alzheimer's disease doesn't happen suddenly. It develops slowly over time. Recognizing the early signs can make a big difference. Getting an early diagnosis and treatment can help slow down the progression. If you or someone close to you is showing signs like forgetfulness, confusion with time or place, or difficulty speaking, it's important to visit a doctor as soon as possible. Ignoring these signs could lead to more serious issues, but early help can make things easier. If this video helped you understand more about the early signs of Alzheimer's, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on health and well-being. Share it with your family and friends so more people can recognize these signs early. Stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next video.